Hi, this is Magnus with another chess video for you. This one is an endgame. It's a bishop versus rook and knight endgame. And I'm playing white, and as you can see, I'm in a bit of trouble. It's black to move, and he takes my rook, and I take his rook, and of course he comes down and pins me. Now you can see that these pawns have not been moved from their starting positions, so the next move would be checkmate, unless I were to do something about it. I did consider at this point resigning, but then I thought, perhaps I'll just use this game for a bit of endgame practice. So I advanced the pawn, allowed him to have the knight, and moved out of check. Now this is an endgame he really should win. He's got a rook and a knight, and I've just got a bishop. We've both got 5 pawns. But this is what happened. I decided to advance the outside pawn here to try to trade. He brought the king down, which is generally a good idea in these situations. I advanced the pawn, and we did trade pawns. Now my plan is to get the remaining pawns into a defensible position, and I'm going to advance my bishop to support this pawn, and then I'm going to advance this pawn to support the bishop. Now this arrangement, pawn, bishop, pawn, is rock solid. There's no way he can take any of those pieces without losing a piece. And often people get a bit confused in the endgame. They think they can perhaps come down and take this pawn that's supporting the bishop. But of course the bishop is also supporting the pawn. So this is a great arrangement to remember. Of course I've left my king exposed, so he threw in a check, and my plan is to get over towards the knight. You see, he comes across here because at this point in his mind, I'm sure he's thinking he can take this pawn, but of course he can't, and he does realize that. Now, moving my king across, I'm abandoning this pawn on the right here, this one down here on the second rank, and of course he takes that. Now I'm very happy with the arrangement I've got my pawns in. All of these pawns and the bishop are supporting each other. The pawn at the base is supported by the bishop, and it is also supporting this other pawn. So all of these pawns and the bishop cannot be taken without losing a piece, so they don't need the assistance of the king, and that means I can use the king to do other things, and I'm going to use the king to take all of his pawns. So I moved up, he brought the rook. He's still thinking perhaps he can take one of these pawns, but he can't. I take the first pawn. He brings a pawn down, I move across. He realizes he can't do anything with the rook there, so he's going to go elsewhere. I take another one. He moves the rook, forgets about his knight. I take his knight. I just need to be careful with the king now. This gives me an opportunity. I sidestep the pawn. I'm almost in the right position to escort this pawn all the way home. Not quite, I just need to be one square further up the board. And now I am in the right position. He realizes, but he's too late. He goes around to check me. I block the check. He realizes that I'm going to have a queen within the next couple of moves, so he sacks the rook. Now all I've got to do now is move carefully. My pawns are all safe, my bishop's safe, I just need to move carefully. So he moves away, I move forward. I get the opportunity to take the first of these 2 pawns, and now he can't get near the other one. I get the other one as well. So I'm in a good position now to escort this outside pawn all the way to queen. He comes across, I can throw a check. I just need to be careful he doesn't get in the corner, so I move my king up, and we're there all the way to queen. So that was the part of the endgame that I was very pleased with, and here's what happened next. Now I'd learned a new technique for checkmating a king when you have just a queen and a king left. Now I've played many games where I've had just a queen and a king left, and I have a technique for checkmating the king, but this was one I'd not used before, and I thought I'd give it a try in this game. So it involves moving the queen to a knight's distance away from the king. So when the king moves, I move the queen to a knight's distance, and that forces the king away and towards the corner. It can't come down the board and can't come towards the queen. So just using the opposition, and when you get the king towards the corner, you can bring your own king across. Now at this point I thought to myself, he's got 3 squares there, so when he moves I could bring my queen across and just trap him in the final 2 squares. And he moved the king across, I moved my queen across, and we got a stalemate. And the reason we got a stalemate is, of course, he has not got 3 squares to move in. He'd only got 2, because this square, A8, is taken away from him by my bishop. So I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. A real beginner's mistake, but a real lesson to learn too. In these situations, beware of additional pieces on the board. It would have been very easy for me to have moved the bishop down to b1, or even to have given him the bishop, early on in the checkmate. I could have put the bishop in front of him and let him take it. So there we go. A couple of lessons to take away from this. Firstly, when it looks like you don't have a chance, just maybe stick with it and give your endgame tactics a try. And secondly, don't get stalemated because of neglecting your own pieces which are elsewhere on the board. Okay, that's it for now. Take care.